Yeah, hi there. This is tuxocher.com again. Welcome on my video channel. And in today's little video, we want to talk a little bit about the Lightroom catalog again. As you probably know, Lightroom inserts every data of changes in metadata or changes in development in the history, and that is a thing especially while those entries are stored in clear text into the database. So if you, let's say, change the sharpness or saturation on a certain degree, you have like 100 times or even 1,000 times that you changed the saturation or sharpness on certain images. That is the reason for the database to keep growing and growing. And in a former article I showed you at least a way to delete the history in the database to clean up the database and make it a little bit smaller, but that has the disadvantage that you can't go back in the development history one or two steps, if you like, on a certain image. Today I want to show you a different way to get the same effect. But before you try that, please be sure that you have a backup of your Lightroom catalog. Okay, I started Lightroom here, and the way I showed you in another article was to mark, let's say, a couple of images here in the grid, change to the development module. And now you could go to photo, here to develop and clear the complete history. But that is, of course, clears the complete history, so you won't be able to go a step backward in certain images if you wanted to. Okay, if you go to this website here, DBBrowser.org, you find the program. It's open source, available for Windows, Macintosh and Linux, and that you just download and install it if you need. Make Lightroom a little bit smaller. Okay, here I got my Lightroom database, but before you try anything, just be sure you have a working backup copy of your Lightroom database. Okay, we start the SQLite browser. I already installed it. Of course, I have to open up a database. We'll go to the right folder. And as you can see, the default extension for SQLite databases is DB. But if we would change to all files, we can open up the Lightroom database. The table we need is this one here, Adobe Library Image Develop History step. That's where the information we can delete is stored in. And we go over to the tab Browse Data, go to the right table, like this one. And here you already can filter for certain words, like, the thing is done in German, so the original text here stored in the database is German too. And as you can see here, if I filter it for the word export, there are over 40,000 entries in this table found. Okay, for deleting or question the database, we go to execute SQL. I copy here the SQL query. And that just says select all, that's for the asterisk here, all table fields from this table where the name, that's one of the fields you need, begins with exportieren, that's a German word for export. And if I execute this one, you see the same result as in the other tab, that here over 40,000 rows are affected in this table. Now to delete this, we just have to modify this a little bit and just say delete. Now all the 40,000 rows would be deleted in the table. I execute that. You see there 40,454 rows affected from this execution. And now to really make the size of the Lightroom database a little bit smaller, you have to do two things. Under Tools, just first optimize, and then after optimization you compact the database. That is for really deletion of all the deleted rows. We do that. It takes a little bit. Before you manipulate the database from Lightroom, be sure you have a working copy. Okay, that is all done. We just say close database and quit the program. And now you can see that is roughly 80,000, 90,000 kilobyte saved on space. You can do that with the edit in or export or publish to. If you, like for example, add a lot of images in Photoshop or export them to, let's say, Flickr, Instagram, or any other web page. Okay, as you could see, that is pretty easy to manipulate the Lightroom database with the database browser for SQLite. Again, make sure you have a backup copy of your database before you try that. But on this way, like in my special case, I have a whole bunch of entries just only saying exported the picture to the hard drive, and that is even information I don't need in the history. You can argue even if it is an entry for the history, but anyway, that way I could save a lot of space. In my special case, around 100 megabyte from those entries. The same is probably true if you added a lot of pictures in, let's say, Photoshop or any other program. Then you find in the history every time the entry that you added the image in a certain application. So this way you could reduce the size of the Lightroom database depending on your workflow. I think it's a way to keep the database from unwanted entries and keep it as small as possible. But again, be on the safe side and make a backup before you start with the database browser. If you have any questions on this, you're welcome to place them in the comments or in the comments of the corresponding blog post, and there you find the download link for the database browser, which I used in a Windows version for this manipulation, but the database browser is also available for Mac OS and Linux. So I hope you liked this video a little bit. I could help you. Then it would be fair to place a like on the video, and I would appreciate it even more if you subscribe my channel, but then be sure to press the bell to get a notification every time I upload a new video. So that's all for today. Till the next time, ciao, Tux Oche.